Next, we'll look at one of my favorite assists to give, especially with people who are a little bit tight or extremely tight. Sophia's not one of those people, so she's going to have to do some serious pretending here for the camera. So if, say, Stiff Steve is in class, and I say, okay, everybody, bring your right leg up and grab your big toe. Go ahead and bring your right leg up, Stiff Steve. So it probably won't go past there, and he'll have to bend his knee and struggle to grab it. So we would put a strap around his foot. I happen to have a beautifully tied loop here. And still, if he pulls back, he's working with a bend in his knee, which could create an uncomfortable pull around the sitting bone if he's aggressive with it. So in my view, the idea is to get the leg straight. So in order to straighten this leg, we encourage the person to bend the other leg. So I'm just going to tap the knee or tap the shin and say, can you bend this leg? And that's a good verbal cue. You don't have to physically bend their leg for them. They can do that themselves. And then we ask them to straighten the leg. If it's still not possible, it could be because they're holding the strap too tight. So we say, can you let go of the strap for a moment? Now go ahead and straighten the leg, engaging here. And their leg might go forward. That's fine. We want to get that leg straight, engaging the quads. And that takes the hamstrings out to length. Since the hamstrings are muscles that flex the knee joint, that contracts them. If we want to lengthen them, we have to keep that leg straight. And with the strap around the ball of her foot, she can now hold onto it, and she's going to very gently pull towards her while keeping the leg straight. And you'll be surprised at how many people will bend the knee right away to get the foot closer to their head. So we're going to take them out of that range and say, no, keep that leg straight. And just hang out there with them. That's really good. The other thing I could do is a technique called PNF. Once she figures out how to straighten her leg and it feels pretty comfortable, she's going to go out to her full range of motion, which we'll pretend it's right here. And so you're in your full range. Ask them to contract their quadriceps. Go ahead and engage your quads. I'm going to poke her in the quads to make sure. There it is. There it is. She keeps letting go. Let's hold on to that. And then we'll take about, let's say, 3 breaths, just holding that position, lengthening and relaxing the back of the leg, which is called reciprocal inhibition. Okay, let's say that was about 10 seconds or 3 breaths. So now she's going to keep this position. She's going to keep her leg straight, but she's going to push against my hand. I'm not going to let her go anywhere. I'm going to be a wall. I'm not pushing back against her, but I'm being a wall. So this is causing her to engage her hamstrings as they lengthen. Not necessarily creating a stretch at all, just contracting the muscles in this range of motion. And we do this for about 8 seconds, maybe longer. Great, now you're going to relax the back of your leg, engage the front of your thigh. Take a long breath in, and as you exhale, gently pull back on the strap. She's doing most of the work. I'm just helping it along a little bit. And what often happens is people will suddenly gain another 10, maybe 30 degrees range of motion. This technique can be repeated up to 3 times in a row. So we're just going to hang at this new range, reciprocal inhibition. She's engaging the front of her thigh. She could flex the toe to her shin if she wants to get into the calf more. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just support. Good. Now she's going to create resistance again. So if she overpowers my hand, that means she's escaped the range. So that's not a very reliable tool for me to use as the adjuster. I'm going to use my own body. So you're going to push against me as hard as you can. I have to make sure I'm stable and strong in my own posture. Try to knock me out. Ooh, geez, she's really strong. I better be careful what I say. Usually that won't happen. Sometimes it will. Whoa. You've been working out? So she's been doing this technique now, engaging the back of the leg as it lengthens, which is called an eccentric contraction. Sounds crazy. And now we're going to relax the back of the leg, going back to reciprocal inhibition. Engage the front of your thigh. Exhale, pull back on the strap a little. And that's where they get the gains. Then we hang out at the new range. Engage the front of the thigh, lengthen the back of the leg. And so if they're this flexible at this point, they could benefit by straightening the other leg. We're actually taking Sophia out to full range now. Does that feel good? Go to where your limit is, right about there. Okay, good. And now she's going to create a little bit of resistance against me. So you're going to push into me. This is our last round, engaging the hamstring. Not really much of a stretch, more just engaging in the full range of motion, which trains the nervous system that we can control it. Good. And then relax, reciprocal inhibition, gently pull back again. And she's in full range, which often comes with a hip hike. So I'm going to take one of my hands into her hip joint, and I'm basically rolling her thigh towards me, holding the outside of the hip. So I'm moving her hips into a more leveled position, more neutral position, as opposed to being internally rotated. And then relax. So go ahead and try that on someone you love, someone stiff. Keep that channel of communication open and see how it goes. I'd love to hear back from you. Now let's look at how to use a strap with someone in a reclined twisting position. Any kind of twist, people often compensate by hiking up the hip as opposed to actually flexing the hip joint and externally rotating. So we're working to get her externally rotated while still drawing the thigh bone to the belly. So let's bring that left leg up. You can take a strap around your foot, fully straighten the leg, and then hold the strap with your right hand. Then go ahead and twist, bringing your legs over towards the side. So as the adjuster, I'm actually going to place my foot right at the back of her ankle. And what that's going to do is prevent her leg from moving away from the stretch as I roll her thigh outward. So it looks something like this. I'm going to catch right in the top of her femur near the hip joint and then roll away from the belly without actually letting her leg move anywhere. And a lot of times people feel more of a stretch on the outside of the hip. How's that? If they want to feel more, you don't have to do anything else to them. Just direct them to straighten their lower leg, and that'll do the work. How we doing there?
Great.
Wonderful.
I said great so many times.
It must be great.
Must be perfectly splendid.
Perfectly splendid. So you can see the position of my ankle. I'm preventing her leg from moving. If I wasn't standing here and I rolled her out, then there's a good chance the leg would move this way, escaping the stretch. So the placement of my foot as the adjuster is to keep her in the position so I can isolate the movement to external rotation while keeping her in hip flexion. And this is a great assist to stay with them on. If they can figure out how to contract their glutes, they'll be able to keep that position as you move away. And this is the art of hip stability. Enjoy. And next, exhale, reach the hands to the floor. You can step to plank on the inhale or kick up to handstand. Exhale to low plank chaturanga, bending the elbows down slow.